It's not.
It's not recording. Now it's recording. Okay. Okay, now it's recording. So in Murabaha financing, we said that the corporate goods that is coming from the Murabaha financing, where the customer asks from the Islamic bank to purchase the goods for a specific supplier. The Islamic bank, after the purchasing the goods, it taking the physical possession, where it sells the goods to a customer at a cost plus profit, the markup manner of doing the business, like as the Murabaha suggests the definition, and with a payment that should be delivered in a deferred basis. The customer should make the payment in installment within predetermined period by the Islamic bank. Generally, it is used when the customer needs to purchase an asset and equipment or any other types of materials or goods. Here's how the structure is illustrated. We have Islamic bank and we have customer and the seller itself. For example, the contract, this is the seller, the Islamic bank. He gets in touch with the buyer. They make agreement, and the buyer, he is promising from the Islamic to purchase. The second, the Islamic bank gets in touch with the supplier, and Islamic banks in here makes a spot payment. That supplier delivers the goods. Once the spot payment takes the place, okay, they deliver the good and the spot payment. These things happen at the same time, okay, delivering the goods and making the payment. But the payment is done through, if it's like abroad, it's done through the partner of the Islamic bank. And once the payment is done and the goods are delivered on the possession of the Islamic bank, then the Islamic bank sign a contract with a buyer. That contract is based on Murabaha contract with a promise to purchase. If there was a security deposit, they will take into consideration. And Islamic bank delivers the goods and the buyer starts paying the installments, like agreed with the Islamic banks on Murabaha contract. But these things are done in a large quantities, like for the corporate financing. So this is what we have discussed it, like a customer wants to acquire the goods, and etc. I don't want to read it again. If you, for example, you're going to review it at home, you can just read it from the beginning and you can understand the structure itself. It's just explanation of the structure. So apart from the Murabaha, we said there is istisna. Most often, as Islamic banks are getting involved in a corporate financing through the istisna, it signs it signs for a certain reason. Istisna contract. So apart from signing, but it signs in the case that if it is in the shoes of the contractor or manufacturer. We know the istisna is to manufacture something, and if it's not the case, then the Islamic bank may sign a parallel contract, which is parallel istisna. So there will be two contracts. In the first istisna contract, you know that Islamic bank is acting as a manufacturer and concludes the contract with the original customer, who is a purchaser, and sells the certain goods that to be manufactured as per agreed upon specification of the futures that has been talked with the customer. In a second contract, in a parallel istisna, the Islamic bank acts as a purchaser and enters into the contract with an ultimate manufacturer to purchase a certain goods to be manufactured by the contractor as a per agreed upon the specification between Islamic bank and the manufacturer. The Islamic bank makes a payment to the contractor as per agreement, terms and conditions, while the customer would make the payments to Islamic bank based on agreed terms and conditions in first istisna contract. So in practice, IB purchases the istisna goods from the contractor and sells it to customer with addition some markup. By this process, the profit will be realized through the difference in price between the ultimate manufacturer and the customer, but with condition that IB should possess the manufactured item, then he is capable to resell it. Here's the Islamic bank, here's the customer, here's the real estate developer or contractor. So first there is a contract, like istisna contract between the customer and Islamic bank. Islamic bank requests, for example, I want to buy, let's say 10 flats, or let's say 10 commercial properties to be constructed, to be manufactured, or 10 cars for my business I want to be manufactured. They make a contract with Islamic bank. Islamic bank gets this request and qualified. Then this request is going to developer or manufacturer company that asks to produce it. If it's a, then once this contract is taken the place, the second contract istisna will be called as a parallel istisna between the Islamic bank and the real estate developer. So there is a payment that comes from first customer, the initial customer, and that payment will be transferred to the real estate developer. So everything will be agreed. It can be installment, it can be spot on like lump sum in one single payment. Then afterwards, this developer or manufacturer delivers the asset to the Islamic bank, and the Islamic bank delivers this asset to the customer. This is how it works, like istisna and parallel istisna. So in one contract. So this is the case when Islamic bank is like a middleman. But there can be the case that Islamic bank can act as a developer or contractor at the same time as a manufacturer company. So this is how the structure of corporate financing based on the parallel istisna. So more or less is the same with the normal istisna product, like a retail product, if you go to the Islamic retail product, but with only difference is the difference in the quantity and the conditions and the payment type. But the way everything it works is similar. This is mechanics for corporate financing based on the parallel istisna. I'm not going to read it because it's just illustration, it's just interpretation of the illustration of the diagram or the structure that we have discussed it on parallel istisna.
Sorry, can I ask something?
Yes, please.
You said the only difference between parallel istisna and retail products and corporate products is the quantity. Do you mean that corporate products are like much more?
Yeah, it's bigger, it's larger in quantity. They are dealing with the higher numbers. For example, in a corporate product, he may deliver 2 products as a single or individual person, but in a corporate one, it's they are dealing with the corporation and the firms.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So supplier financing, or we can call it as salam sale, is the seller and the buyer under the salam sale are known as musallam and known as Rabul Salam, respectively. So most often when Islamic banks, they get involved in a corporate financing through the Salam, they are looking for, due to some reasons, like binding promise to purchase from the third party ultimate buyer. In Salam contract, the Islamic bank act as a purchaser and conclude the contract with the customer to purchase certain goods to be produced or procured as a per agreed upon specification. Simultaneously, the Islamic bank received a binding promise to purchase from an ultimate buyer in order to sell the goods purchased from the customer. So being a purchaser in the Salam contract, the Islamic bank should make an advance payment. Here's the difference that makes from istisna, that they receive advance payment of the full amount of the customer, which will fulfill the need of the customer required financing. On agreed upon delivery date of the customer delivers the Salam goods to the Islamic bank, which in turn will be based on the promise to purchase it and sells the goods to ultimate buyer. So in this process, The profit is realized through the difference, the price between two parties, between the two contracts that will be signed, ultimate buyer and producer. Here's the Islamic bank. It signs the salam contract with a customer. The customer spot payment of salam price. Then they deliver the price paid to supplier. They purchase the required salam goods periodically from the supplier. So the makes the difference in here that the goods or services delivered on different basis, like it will be delivered later, but the payment takes the place first. So the customer gets paid to the supplier, and they bring these products or services to the Islamic bank. So in here, the Islamic bank uh, selling the goods to the third party. So we can see there are four parties are involved. Islamic bank is asking a customer or a partner to bring the products from abroad, like from the Germany, the cars or anything. So let's say the cars, the Mercedes or BMW, whatever the case. So the customer pays the payment to that supplier of the cars. He receives the product, they receive the goods, these cars, and transfer these cars to the Islamic bank, and the Islamic banks make the sale of the goods to the third party and receive the payment for that product. So in here we can understand that the Islamic bank plays like a middleman, but with one condition, as again, with the condition of having full possession of the product or full possession of the goods that are being traded, actually.
Sorry, one question. Can you here? Do they all of them have to make advance payment? Like for instance, the customer who is seeking finance, like bank gives right away the amount he needs, right?
The bank should first make the full payment, because the customer, this guy who wants to purchase it, he will have to pay as well in the full amount. But
To the supplier.
the third party may sign a contract on a different basis. So
With the
it can,
bank and
yeah,
can
with the
pay
bank in
and make
installment.
and
In
okay,
installment,
okay.
it can be like the contract may be, for example, this salam istisna, sorry, salam contract can be based on murabaha contract. So first the salam contract will be signed with this customer, and the
Mm-hmm.
murabaha will be signed with this customer.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. For example, corporate finance based on istisna, there is an actual construction cost, which is $1 million. The finance period will be 5 years, and profit rate will be 5%. So the profit amount is $250,000. And how it's been calculated, 5% of 1 million is $50,000. If it's 5 years, it's 5 times 50,000. In total, it makes 250,000. So istisna sale price between bank and the customer is 1,250,000. So there will be 60 number of installment. If the installment payment will be done in 60 months in monthly basis, then it should be divided into monthly basis, just divided by 60. So the equal monthly payment will be equal to 20,833. This is corporate financing based on istisna.
Why the first installment is higher?
Which first installment?
Like installment to be paid by customer except first installment, which is on the left. So it's higher by $20.
Why it's higher? Maybe in here, like they might be charging some, for example, if you go for any bank, it might be loan. They may charge you a fee for manipulating with this paper-based work actually. This can be the reason. But in here, they accept the first installment, which is 2,853. Or what might be the cost if you calculate this? 2,833 times 60, it would not give you directly $1,250,000 in this case, for example. And the difference is the $20 actually. So they're asking you to get the proper number without any decimal numbers after it. So you have to pay first installment this, and the later installments will be this amount. So this can be the reason. But in some cases, they may charge you the $20 like the fee for working with the papers. For example, just let me just type it to make it more clear to you. In here, if 20,833 times 60, it would give you 1,249,980. And the difference is between this $20 that you are looking for actually. So in total, if you put this one and times, for example, 59 plus this, you should get exactly 1,250,000.
Oh yeah, okay, I get it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, now corporate finance based on salam. Let's say their total quantity of salam goods is 100,000 kgs of tomato or wheat. Okay, we want to bring it from one country. The market price is the price that is traded in that country that you want to bring it to. For example, if you are in Kazakhstan and you want to bring the tomatoes from Uzbekistan and you want to sell it in here, the price per kg is 12 and a half. The total market price of this volume will be 150,000. So, but you cannot bring it everything at the same time, like in once. So what you will do, you will just divide it into installments. So delivery period will be 5 years and 6 months, like 5 years, but it will be delivered with the frequency of semi-annually, like twice in a year. So in total, you're gonna bring it in 5 years, 10 times. Every time you bring it, in each installment, you will be able to bring it 10,000 kgs, okay? So 10 times in 5 years, in total, it should make 100,000. With a profit rate of 5%, as it has been calculated. So how do they calculate it? It's 5%, because if the market price is 12 and a half, and the salam contract unit sale price, you pay $10, $2.50 for 10,000. So in total, you're gonna earn $250,000. So which makes for 5 years, in total, annually, it's 5% annual rate actually. So half year quantity of the salam goods received is 10,000. And for this $10,000, the first Islamic bank, he will receive $125,000. So the cost will be 100,000, and the profit from here, it will be 25,000 for first 6 months. For the second 6 months, he will have again 25,000. But before bringing the goods, okay, guys, this is the salam base. Before bringing the goods, Islamic bank pays in advance. Then the good comes. For example, I'm bringing the car, which is any example of the car, the wet, which already produced, but I want to bring it every 6 months, like twice in a year. Any questions? This is how corporate financing based on salam. Okay, so far we had letter of credit, we had bank guarantee, Now we had a corporate finance product itself, corporate financing. And the fourth, we're going to deal with the working capital financing. So with the day-to-day activities of any business or company, such as buying the production, distribution, rent, payroll, like paying the salaries, etc. Everything, all this type of businesses, all this type of activities, they require sort of financing. The form of financing required to meet a short-term liabilities, actually. This working capital management or working capital finance is basically designed to come up with finance to meet a short-term activities, short-term liabilities of any businesses or that being involved in. So it is defined as difference between the current assets and the current liability. If you remember from the finance courses, the working capital is equal to current asset minus current liability, especially in the financial management course, you should be studying this. So it reflects actually the capability of the company to meet its current obligation with its current financing. In simply speaking, the working capital financing is very important to any growing businesses, that it helps the company or business to compete in the market, because we have really nowadays a very competitive market if you compare to the previous like 10, 20 years back. Nowadays, the market are more competitive. So for financing the working capital in Islamic way, there are three structures that are mainly designed by Islamic banks. The first one is commodity murabaha, the other one mudaraba, and the third one is wakala. So let us go through each commodity, through each forms of financing working capital. Remember that these three, they're designed to meet the short-term obligations. So when it comes to the commodity murabaha, is the contract in which a party buys a certain commodities from a seller and sells it to a third party, and with the purpose to obtain the cash to meet some short-term obligations. Under working capital financing, the Islamic bank buys the Sharia complaint product from the market and sells it to the same customer on a deferred payment basis. However, since the customer is in need of cash, the person may wish to sell the commodity to a third party, and this will get the cash needed for working capital financing. So if you remember in Islamic retail products, there was one form of these activities which was called tawarruk, and it was not kind of encouraged by the Islamic scholars due to the reason like making similar to credit based on interest. So everything depends on the purpose. So some scholars, they do not allow, some scholars, they encourage, they say it can be done actually. So these opinions, like they do not go in same line concerning the commodity murabaha. So buying with the purpose to resell, at the end you will to get some cash financing. Here's how the structure of working capital finance works based on the murabaha. So Islamic bank and customer, two parts. Customer gets in touch with Islamic bank and gives the promise to purchase certain products, certain commodities from the Islamic bank. Then Islamic bank gets in touch with the seller of that product, makes a payment on market price, whatever the case, purchase it, and that product will be delivered to the Islamic bank. Then the Islamic bank will deliver this certain products by adding some profit based on murabaha principle, like cost plus financing, and will deliver to customer. And that customer, basically he needs a cash, he doesn't need a product. he will get this product and resell to the purchaser, the ultimate purchaser. So at the end, he will get a payment on spot. That payment on spot, he will use it. However, he will pay in installments to the bank. The payment to the bank will be done on installment. As I told you, this commodity murabaha is mainly tavaruk. Okay, buying one from the bank, and like 3 parties involved. But in here we have 4 parties involved. And who can remind me, guys? There was another way of doing this, but involving the same parties. Like Islamic Bank buys from seller.
Anna.
Very good. Very good. You didn't let me to finish you.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I really like it. It's fine. Perfect. Okay. So one more time. Working capital finance dealing with the short-term asset and short-term liabilities. And there are 3 Islamic corporate finance products are developed on the working capital financing is commodity murabaha and mudaraba and wakala. We talked about murabaha. Now it's time to talk about mudaraba, which is venture capital. Mudaraba is a partnership in a profit whereby one party provides a capital, Rabbul Mal, and the other party provides management or labor force. In Arabic, we call a mudarib. So in working capital financing, Islamic Bank provides a capital to an identified project where the customer gives its skills and management with a certain expertise. So the income and the profit from the project are shared as pre-agreed profit sharing ratio. If there are any losses that are incurred by, it will be borne by Islamic Bank. And in some condition, if the customer or the manager was not behaving ethically and there was a like misconduct, unethical misconduct and negligence by the customer or by the manager, then Islamic Bank may ask to compensate or to refund that loss. To structure working capital based on mudaraba. So we have a mudarib, we have a Rabbul Mal, the one who provides the capital. So there is a contract between the mudarib and Rabbul Mal, the one who provides the capital, the one who provides the management. So once everything done, they agree the profit share and the profit loss, and they make agreement on that contract. Islamic Bank supplies the money to the mudarib, and mudarib makes all the projection. He applies his expertise in a project. He puts the money into project. He invests in a certain project, some money with some flows and some ideas. That project generates at the end some profit. That profit definitely will be shared, like 70 to 30, like 30% will go to mudarib and 70% will go to Islamic Bank. If there is a loss, the loss will be shared only by Islamic Bank. In some cases, like this, with some conditions, and the condition that I told you, if customer was or mudarib was very truthful and very sincere in his work, he done everything, he did his best to achieve the goal that they put at the beginning of the signing of the contract. Unfortunately, due to some condition, due to some thing that happened that was not under control. The example I give you, let's say before this pandemic, this coronavirus started, we agreed with Al-Nur and Dana to make a business to bring the products from abroad. I said, I have guys, Al-Nur, you have expertise, and Dana, you have expertise, but I have a money. I will give you the money. Please bring the goods from the abroad. So Dana and Al-Nur, they decide to buy the goods from the abroad. They have the money and expertise and everything. And what happens? They send the money, they purchase the goods, but they paid the goods in advance before receiving that goods from abroad. This coronavirus pandemic took the place in the countries all around the world. So all borders closed. Everything is closed. Do I have a right to claim something on these expertise, on these managers? No, because they did their best. They tried to do everything. However, due to some macroeconomic factors, some macro factors that are not under the control of the managers, like quarantine issues, like closing the borders, that affected our business. So we incurred a loss. Actually, me, the one who provides the capital, incurring a big loss. So I'm the one who shared the loss. So I don't have a right to claim anything. But if I gave this money to Alnur and Dana, but Dana and Alnur had a fight between each other and they couldn't come up together, and Dana just used the money for her own expenses, and Alnur just took his money for his own expenses, and then they spent the money. There was no project delivered and the project was failed, and there is a big loss. That loss actually shared by me as an Islamic bank. However, I have a right to sue the managers because they have not performed their responsibility, their task properly, or they have not fulfilled their responsibilities in the manner that it has been mentioned in the contract. So before running this type of things, before running this type of investment, if I don't know Dana, if I don't know the Alnur, I may ask them to put some security deposits as a collateral for them to be sure, for me to be sure that they will act in a way that does not contradict an ethical misconduct. Okay. This is based on Mudaraba. And wakala is, as literally, it means that like preservation. Legally, the wakala can be defined as person, as a principal, who will do the work for the other person, like for an agent. And in this regard, the agent, the wakil, he will deal with others' properties and preserve them. In this type of arrangement, Islamic Bank appoints the customer as its agent and invests its money in a project. The customer is entitled to an agency fee or for wakala fee. So he receives some fee for it. The loss, if any, shall be borne by the bank only unless is the wakil found negligent as well, in which case the wakila capital shall be refunded by wakil, by the agent who was running the money, to the principal, to the Islamic Bank. Or the Islamic Bank sometimes can be an agent, by the way, to use the money to invest in a proper project, and he will be responsible for the money. This is how it works. The wakala agency contract between the principal and wakil, the agent, the customer is an agent, and the Islamic Bank is the principal. Islamic Bank provides the money to the agent, so that agent will deliver the project, will construct, will invest in a construction company. If everything is good, everything is perfect, so there will be profit for the bank, and the bank will have to pay a fee, an incentives fee for the agent, like a salary for this work. And this is the mechanics of working capital finance, which is based on wakala. I'm not going to read it because it's illustrated in the diagram. So coming to the calculation part, based on commodity murabaha, we have a cost of goods, which is $150,000. There is no down payment by the customer, but it can be still. But in this case, the Islamic Bank financed that goods by 100%. So all the money paid by Islamic Bank is full amount. There will be profit margin like fixed 5%. The term finance will be 2 years in monthly basis, and which is 24 months in total. So the total profit amount will be $15,000. 5% out of 150,000. If you add it up, you're gonna make 15,000, and for 2 years. And total murabaha sale price to the customer will be $165,000. In Murabaha case, as you know, that it should be disclosed like profit and plus cost. So the customer should know both what is the profit and what is the cost of that product. So the monthly installment for the customer will be $6,875. And if it's divided into two, like 6,250, it is profit, sorry, the cost product, and profit is this. So the cash in hand of the customer is $150,000 as a cost. When it says cash in the hands of the customer, it means in here, guys, that the customer doesn't get the cash, but the customer gets the product that the Islamic purchased, actually. But it's equivalent, like he will get the cash. He will get the product itself, and he will use it, that product. But the product, he will get it for the price is 165,000. This is how mechanics of calculation takes place. I'm not going to read it because I already just gone through the table itself. Coming to Mudaraba based working capital. Working capital financing has got three parts: commodity murabaha, mudaraba, and wakala. So we done with the commodity. Now we're doing with mudaraba. And now, let's say there is a capital requirement by the customer. There's 100,000 requirement. Islamic Bank financed that requirement, 100,000. And that financing, we know that Islamic Bank cannot give a cash directly to the customer, but it can be a partner, like be in the case of Mudaraba. Mudaraba is a partnership, like a venture capital. He provides the capital, and customer, as a manager with the expertise and certain experience, will do the project investment. And the profit sharing ratio is 70 to 30, like 70% the Islamic Bank is going to get it, and 30% will be given to customer. So Mudaraba business period will be 1 year. The rate of return from the business, let's say 10%. It's not fixed, guys. It's just imagination. Let's say they made a profit and they receive 10% return. And profit generated from the business, $10,000. So they earn $10,000. So which means that Islamic Bank will get their share profit of 7,000, and customer share profit will be 3,000. So total capital and the profit due to the bank by the customer is $107,000. So customer, he gets his 100,000, invest in a certain project. Let's say Dana has got a project, but she needs financing. She decides, shall I go to Islamic Bank or shall I go to conventional bank? Now she realized, she said, let me go to Islamic Bank. I don't want to involve in any interest. Just want to go to Islamic. She went to Islamic, she asked 100,000. And Islamic Bank says, look, if you need $100,000 for 1 year, then what we can do, I can offer you this $100,000 based on Mudaraba based working capital. And how it will work? It will work on a partnership. Like I will provide the capital and you will provide the management. But the profit that you're gonna earn, it will be shared. I will receive my profit 70%, and whatever profit you generate, you will have 30% of the profit. But eventually, at the end of the project, when the project is completed, when the profit is generated, already realized, then you have to return to me $100,000 as the initial principal that I gave you, plus $7,000 as the profit we earned. If the loss take the place in this project, it will be borne by the capital provider. Who is the capital provider in this case? The Islamic Bank. Okay. This is the mechanics how it works. Okay, the fifth Islamic corporate product. So far the first one was Islamic bank guarantee product. Second one was Islamic letter of credit. The third one was I forgot what was the third one. Just lost my mind. First, Islamic bank guarantee. Second, the letter of credit. Third one is corporate finance. The working capital is the fourth one. Who can remind what was the third one? Let me just go back.
Like something trading.
Corporate finance. Corporate finance. And that corporate finance is based on three. Islamic corporate finance. It's murabaha, istisna, and salam. Okay. Okay, now the fifth one is the syndicate finance. It is the when Islamic banks form a syndicate for huge financing requirements for customers that come from the corporations. This syndication is the financing facility that granted by a group of financiers, like several corporations. They provide a big amount of money, and it is arranged by one or more financiers. It is the condition for the company to be for the Islamic bank to arrange the syndicate financing pool. And if there is only one corporation, there is no need to arrange a syndication, because syndicate means a group of investors that provides the capital, and there will be only one contract, and there will be one pool, like mutual funding. All the terms and the conditions of finance arrangement are documented, are contracted in a single financing agreement. If there are, let's say, 5 corporations, the 5 corporations provide their money, their investments, that will be kept in one pool with a single financing agreement. And this type of financing arrangement provides a wide ranges of options and applications that will be helpful in corporate financing investment or acquisition or any types of project financing. In this section, we're going to discuss 2 important forms of syndications. One is ijara syndication, the other one is murabaha syndication. So when it's ijara, you know what is the ijara term means? Is like leasing a property, and then that contract that will allow you to receive some benefits in form of usufruct, like getting the flat and renting that flat, and any rental fee from that flat, it will be a usufruct for you. Or it can be anything else, like it can be car, it can be a building. So in ijara syndication, the financial institution or Islamic bank pools the investment from different corporations with a huge collection, and they create a big or huge pool. They act as an agent to all these investors, and they purchase the assets on their behalf. Let's say they said, we're gonna buy property, a luxury property that will consist of 500 flats. Let's say you are 19 people now in here, you're all 19 investors. I said to you, their big property, which is in Cyprus, that property has got 500 flats. When we rent that flat, when we lease it, we're gonna receive a really good rental fee. That rental fee will be divided proportionally, like what amount of the contribution you made it, in that proportion you will receive your profit. So if you're not involving, and I'm as an Islamic bank, I will be managing. So this ijara syndication will let you to earn some rental fee on a big amount of profit. And we will sign a one single agreement with you. If there are 19 investors, and it will be one just single agreement, which will be based on ijara syndication. So let's say they're big investor, they're financer, there's investment agent like Mudarip, we can say, the manager of the money. I collect the money, first of all, they pull them out as an investment agent. I collect this money from the investors, from you, like from 19 investors. Then this payment is made to seller who provides me the property, let's say commercial property, or it can be residential property. I receive that property. Then I make a leasing contract with a third party. I lease this property to a third party. I deliver this property to the third party and I receive the rental payment. That rental payment, once I receive it, I transfer to investor. This is how it works. I receive first initial payment from you, from 19 people, a big pool investment. Then I purchase that property. Then I lease it to a third customer. I make a lease contract with this guy, deliver the asset. He used that asset and he pays the rental payment. And that's it. This is how it works, the ijara syndication. So the mechanics of ijara syndication is are here. If you couldn't understand properly, or if you go home when you review it, you can just read it and it explains everything step by step. Okay, so coming to murabaha syndication, it is the term that it comes from RIP, which means the profit gain, and murabaha is the sale commodity as per purchase price with a defined and agreed profit markup. So in murabaha syndication, the financial institution collects the investment into a single pool from different investors, like from you, from 19 investors, and it acts as an agent of these investors to purchase a certain asset on behalf of you. So after taking this possession, it sells to a customer on murabaha basis. That lead arranger collects some payment, periodical payment, and that periodical payment with the profit will be shared with you. So as the structure of murabaha syndication shows that I'm an investor bank, I'm collecting the pools from you, from the investors. And buying that assets from the seller, certain assets, certain commodity, it can be any types of asset, given the full payment in lump sum, let's say $100,000 or 1 or 10 million. And that product that I purchase, I'm selling to the customer, to the ultimate customer. Are writing the contract to that customer, like making an agreement with them on murabaha based principle, delivering the product, and I receive some installment payments. Example, I can give you the same thing. A property we buy for, let's say, 4 million euro. That consists 100 flats. We purchase from the seller this 100 flats. Then 4 million euro, I'm selling these flats to a customer. It can be not only one customer, it can be 100 customers, okay? I'm selling to 100 customers, but with some profit markup, and we make, let's say, 5 million of, in total, let's say for 2 years, we make 5 million of euro. So our profit will be equal to 1 million. 1 million profit. So this profit will be shared with you pro rata, and I will get my fee. I will get my profit as well, because it's based on murabaha. We should share the profit in here. So we'll share this profit, and you will get your profit as invested, plus the amount that you have invested. This is how it works on the murabaha base. So mechanics of the murabaha syndication is given here, but I'm not going to go through again because I have already illustrated on the diagram before in the previous slide. So with a calculation, ijara syndication, let's say total cost of asset is 10,200,000, and the lease deposits is 200,000. The bank's financing 10 million. There are 3 investors are involved. Let's say investment bank 1, investment bank 2, investment bank 3. Each, let's say, comes 2.5, 2.5, and 5 million respectively. The total lease period will be 5 years, and the bank's profit rate will be 5% fixed on finance. So the bank's annual profit in amount will be 500,000. So each bank, investment bank, will receive this 500,000, which will be shared among this, not each, sorry. So they will receive 500,000 each year. This will be shared with this each bank. Here's how the mechanics of the calculation works. You can just go if you don't understand how it works.
Sorry, can I ask?
Yes, please.
The profit will be divided according to the capital that the investment banks invested.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, sure. In ratio. Like this guy invested, let's say 50%, this guy invested 25%. So which means the profit, they will get it accordingly what they have contributed to this project.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Murabaha syndication. Let's say there are 3 participating banks, like 1, 2, 3. One is investing 3 million, the other one is investing 3 million as well. The third one is investing 4 million, and total syndication is equal to 10 million. And the terms of financing is 60 months. The same thing, we can buy the flat, let's say for 10 million. The property, big property, that consists of 100 flats with a profit margin of 5%. So the total profit amount will be 2.5 million for 5 years. Like each year, we're gonna generate $500,000. This $500,000 will be shared with this each participating bank according what they have contributed. So total murabaha sale price will be 12,500. So if we buy the property, as I gave you the example, 100 flats for 10 million, and then we will sell these flats as Islamic Bank will sell to the customer for $12.5 million for 5 years. So our profit will be $2.5 million. This $2.5 million will be shared with this each bank accordingly, like how much money they have invested. And this is murabaha sale installment. This is like related to the customer that he buys the property from us or any commodity, and he pays an installment. This is the mechanics that it works to calculate. Okay, the last one, the 6, Islamic corporate finance, is Islamic corporate product, is a current account. It's just a regular account that provides a holder a guarantee on the principal amount deposited that is based on interest-free loan. That account holders are not entitled to receive any deposits, any profits, or they will not bear any losses if it take the place. So they, whatever they invested, they will use it. So this type of account is specifically was used to meet the needs of the customer who wants to withdraw or who wants to just keep the money in the bank to withdraw from the cash tellers or bank branches or use the ATM cards if they're abroad. So they want to just keep the money in the bank. That's it. So Islamic current account is structured using the card contract, and the card contract is the interest-free loan given by the depositor to the bank. So depositor just puts the money and gives the bank a free loan. So the bank receives $100,000 or 10 million. This 10 million will be given back to the corporation. So if I have a firm, I'm earning my profit, let's say, from producing and selling the product. So this generated money, I have to keep somewhere. Let's say I don't invest and I keep some money in the bank. So I just put into the Islamic bank and give, it means when I put into Islamic bank without asking any condition, I'm just putting, just let it be there. And it means that I'm lending the money with free interest rate. So in this case, the bank utilizes the monies, uses the customers as a creditor. The bank is obligated to return the principal on the demand. So if I demand my money back, the bank should be returning all the money that I put into deposit account. So they may use the money, but they have to return it upon my request. This is how a simple structure of Islamic current account works actually. Like they sign a card Hassan contract, customer as a creditor, they lend the money, put the deposit, issuance the checkbook or ATM or debit card, and return the money if there is a demand on this, of course. This is how the mechanics of the current account based on the card works. And this is just.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So in case of the bank's bankruptcy, will they be entitled to their full amount that they hold in their cards?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
Okay. This is all for today. And this is how it's just shown, like total amount deposited and total amount is available on any demand. So there is no subtraction, there is no any addition of the profit. This is the how much money should be in current account of based on the card. So I'm done with this lecture. So on Thursday, we're gonna have a new lecture, which will be based on treasury products of Islamic banks. We're gonna see those treasury products as well. If you don't have any questions, I would like to stop in here. You can just leave the conference if you don't have any questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
But I have a question
Yes.
regarding the quiz. I sent you the emails just like 1 hour ago before the class. The quiz too. So when will you permit me to do the quiz?
Don't worry. You had your first quiz, yes?
Yeah.
We're gonna have the third quiz.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna have the third quiz. That's it. I mean, you don't need to have the 3 quizzes. I'm gonna choose just the best 2 quizzes.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, I
Okay?
get it.
In this way, you will compensate.
And
If you, let's say, if you fail the third quiz, you were not able to write in a good manner, then I will give you one more quiz to be
okay,
more.
okay, but no, it's gonna be fine. And I have another question. So regarding the project, so I've sent you the email actually. May I join the group that do the country Malaysia? They already basically agreed to welcome me to their group.
Okay, if they are welcoming you, then if they're happy to have you, then no problem with this. No problem.
The class, she is okay with that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, then,
You're
Professor.
welcome. Bye.
Bye. Stay
Bye.
healthy.
You too.
Just last question. When we're gonna have our third quiz?
Most probably next week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Most
Thank
probably
you.
next week. Okay.